Few healers are curious about the source of their power. They accept it and they use it, but they don't claim to originate it. Most healers, like Phil Edwards, agree that healing is the result of an energy or force that's transmitted through them. But what does a healer feel during the act of healing?
To me, it feels like a heat or a cold in the palm of the hands. There's a tingling feeling in the fingers, and it makes my hands shake a little bit. There's a sort of variation in the volume of that. And sometimes the patient feels the heat or cold, or both, during a session. Or some people describe it as a tingling feeling inside the head or inside the body, wherever the problems are. Quite often they say afterwards, "My goodness, you sure knew where the trouble was, didn't you?" And of course I didn't. No idea. I just know that something's wrong in the back, so one's hand hopefully wanders down the back. My preconceived idea is that somebody who was a healer had to be somebody special. It is certainly not true. One is not special. One is the same as anyone else. If anything, one's very lucky, because it's quite an experience to see people get better when they're not expected to, and it's happening through you. You feel rather like a privileged bystander, and you know for sure it's nothing to do with you, because you couldn't do it.
If healing is psychological, will it work for people who don't believe in it? June Gunn is convinced healing helped her recover from a potentially disabling spinal injury. But was she healed, or is it possible that she recovered naturally?
I had such immediate relief from each time I visited Phil that I don't think that was possible. I was in such a desperate state. I might have got slightly better over the years through resting and having a life which was really unacceptable. I might have got slightly improved, but I can't possibly see how I could have got back to this activity in such a short time anyway, because I was virtually unable to pick a pan up. The weight on my back was too great, and within months of coming to Phil, I was virtually walking about and driving in the car, and it was just too quick to say that it would have happened like that.
I had conjunctivitis in my eyes early this spring, and the antibiotic ointment didn't seem to do any good, so the doctor suggested I'd better go to a specialist. In between, I came to Phil Edwards for 4 treatments. I think the most interesting experience of the lot was the third, when I felt enormous heat. And of course, I since have learned that this is one of the textbook things which go with healing, and the heat came before anything touched me, before the hands reached me, and it was extremely powerful nearly through the whole treatment. And driving away an hour or two later, I had only to think back to this particular healing treatment, and the heat came on again in the back of my neck really powerfully. And I think that it was after that that my eyes did in fact make quite a sudden leap, if that's the right word to use.